Hello and welcome. Today we're going to make a lovely little sun hat for baby. Very quick and easy to make. The size you make depends on the size of hook you use. So a 3mm hook will make a 0 to 6 month size. 3.5mm hook will make a 6 to 12 month size, and a 4mm hook will make a 1 to 3 years size. And we use a double knit weight 3 yarn. All the materials required and also the measurements for these little hats are in the description below. Let's get going. To begin, we'll make a slip knot. Make it however you like, but make sure it's the tail that tightens the slip knot and the working yarn that loosens it. And then chain 3. And into the first chain that we made, we're going to make 10 double crochets. So yarn over hook, insert into that chain, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'll show you once more. Yarn over hook, insert, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So make another 8 double crochets, so you've got a total of 10, and I'll meet you towards the end of this first round. And there's 10. To join, ignore the starting chain. At the top of the first stitch, into the V at the top, slip your hook underneath, yarn over, and just slip through. And that's you closed your first round. To tighten up this hole in the middle, simply pull on the tail. And this is why it was so important that the tail is what was going to tighten your slip knot. Right, for round 2, I like to use a chainless start in this hat. If you would rather use a starting chain of 2 and then make your stitches, that's fine, up to yourself. This is just the way that I like to do it. So stretch out your loop and hold it with your index finger and don't let it go, otherwise it unravels. Bring your hook to the front, down, round to the back, and then insert it into that first stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through that loop and the twisted loop, yarn over and pull through, and that counts as our first double crochet. And then we make another double crochet into that same stitch. And the repeat for this round is 2 double crochets into each stitch. So we had 10 stitches at the end of our first round, and we're going to have 20 stitches at the end of this round. So I shall meet you towards the end of this round. So last stitch, and then we'll have 20 stitches, and it's always worth checking. Always easier to spot problems early and rectify them. So 20 stitches, and at the top of the first stitch into the V, slip your hook yarn over and slip through, and that's round 2, 20 stitches. For round 3, we start by making 2 double crochets into that first stitch. Either chain 2 and then work the 2 double crochets, or use the chainless start. It's up to yourself. If you're using the chainless start, elongate the loop on your hook, bring your hook to the front, down, round to the back, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and I've split my yarn, I think, have I? Yes, I did. There. I make so many mistakes, but I don't mind. I enjoy crocheting even if I'm not always that good at it. Right, so 2 double crochets into your first stitch. One double crochet into the following, and that's the repeat all the way around. It's 2 double crochets into one stitch, followed by 1 double crochet into the next. So keep working 2 into one, 1 into the next, all the way around, and I'll meet you back here is our last stitch and 2 double crochets into there. So now we'll have 20 stitches, and it's always worth double checking, okay? Now to join again, we go to the top of the first stitch, slip our hook under the V, slip through and slip through. And there we are, that's round 2. For round 3, either you can chain 2 and then work your stitches, or as I like to do, make the chainless start. But whatever way you like to do it, we're going to work 2 double crochets into the first stitch. And then 1 double crochet into the following. And that's the repeat for this round. So it's 2 double crochets into one stitch, followed by 1 double crochet into the next. So work that sequence all the way round, and I'll meet you towards the end of this round. So it'll be 1 double crochet in the last stitch, and then at the end of round 3 we'll have 30 stitches, and as ever it's always worth double checking. And then into the top of the first stitch from the round, into the V at the top, slip your hook, yarn over, slip, slip, and there we are. That's 3 rounds complete. For the 4th round, we're going to make 2 double crochets into the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. And that's the repeat for this round. So you're working 2 double crochets into one stitch, and then 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So it's 2, 1, 1, 2. Oh, it's going to be awfully clever there and quickly show you. 2, 1, 1. So there we are. So that's the sequence. 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Okay, 2 into 1 stitch, 1 into each of the following 2 stitches all the way round, and I'll meet you towards the end of this round. So there is our final stitch, and then again join into the top of the first stitch, slip your hook under the V at the top and slip stitch to join, and that's us got 40 stitches. For the 5th round we're going to again start with 2 double crochets into the first stitch, and then we're going to make 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So the repeat for this round is 2, 1, 1, 1. So that's 2 double crochets, then 1, 1, 1, 2 in 1 stitch, 1 in the following 3 stitches. And that's the repeat all the way round. So again, I shall meet you towards the end of this round. And there we are. Now at the end of this round, you'll have 50 stitches. So again, worth checking that you're on track. And also, this is the end of our increases for the crown of our hat. So it's worthwhile checking your diameter. I've left all the sizing and the measurements for the crowns in the description. So you can just make sure that your hat is going to be the size you want it. Round 6, we're just going to work 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way around. No increases, so it'll still be the 50 stitches at the end. So that's 1 double crochet into each stitch, and at the end of this round we'll change colour for the next part of our hat. So I shall meet you towards the end of this round. So last stitch in round 6, and then slip stitch to join, and now we want to change our colour, so just loop it over the hook and pull through, and then pull down on the colour we're leaving behind. And now we're just going to work 1 double crochet into each stitch in the round. Here. So one stitch all the way round, still no increases or decreases, and you're going to work 2 rows with this colour, double crochets, 1 each in every stitch. And I'll meet you back round towards the end of the second row with this colour. There's the last stitch in this round, and then join with a slip stitch. So we've got our 2 rounds of the double crochet in our second colour, and then we're going to make 1 round in single crochet. So I just chain 1 and then single crochet all the way round, and I'll meet you towards the end of this round when we'll change to our third final colour. So there we are, finished a round of single crochets. So with the second colour we did 2 rounds of double crochet and 1 round of single crochet. Next we're going to change to our third colour and work the same as we've just done with the second colour. So just pop the loop over your hook and then pull down on the colour we're saying goodbye to. Oh, and that is exactly why you should never let go of the twisted loop. There. Now, you work 2 rounds of double crochets and 1 round of single crochets, 1 in each stitch, no increases, no decreases, continuing the count of 50 stitches, and I'll meet you towards the end of the single crochet round. There is the final stitch in the single crochet round, slip stitch to join. So now we've got the 2 rounds of double crochet and 1 round of single crochet in our third colour. Next we want to start increasing stitches for the brim of the sun hat. So we're going to chain 1, work 1 single crochet into that first stitch, and then 2 single crochets into the next, and that's the repeat all the way around. 1 single crochet into 1 stitch, 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 single crochet into 1 stitch, 2 single crochets into the next. So work that all the way round, and I'll meet you towards the end. There's the last 2 single crochets in the final stitch, and then slip stitch to join. For the next round, chain 1, and we're going to continue increases. Now, the way I like to make this hat is I just make another 5 increases in this round. If you wanted a wider brim, that's fine. Just make more increases. Just make them obviously evenly all the way around. The only thing I would say is that if you make a lot more increases, the brim of the hat will turn out to be a wee bit floppy, which is a cool look, and if that's what you like, go for it. I prefer more of a bucket hat with a firmer brim. So my repeat for this round is single crochet 14, one in each stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and that will give me a total of 80 stitches once I've finished the round. So again, that's single crochets, 1 each in 14 stitches, 2 single crochets in the next, all the way around, and as ever I'll meet you towards the end. And there's 2 single crochets into the last stitch, and then slip stitch to join. So now I've got a stitch count of 80. If you've decided to make a few more increases, that's totally fine, as I was saying earlier. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to simply work 4 rounds of single crochets, no more increases. So 1 single crochet into each stitch, all the way around for 4 rounds. And then I shall meet you once you've done that to show you how I work the final round. There we are, and slip stitch to join. There. So that's us done the 4 rounds of single crochet. So our brim is shaping up nicely. For the very final round, what I like to do is chain 1. Oops. And then turn my work, and then I like to work the final round of single crochet in the opposite direction, just 1 stitch, or 1 single crochet rather, into every stitch. And if I just do a few, I'll be able to show you why I like to do it this way. That'll do to be going on with. Right, so you see what I like is this effect. So if we just finished off as we were, like doing another round like that, that would be the edge, whereas I prefer this. But if you prefer that edge, just you work your final round in the same direction. So work your final round, and I'll meet you towards the end. There we have our final stitch. So snip off the end. If you've got a way, and then just pull through. If you've got a way you like to finish off, absolutely grand, you do you. This is just the way that I like to do it. Usually I would use a blunt ended needle, but I've misplaced it temporarily. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So the way I finish off is that was the first stitch of our round and that was the second. And underneath both loops of the second, I pop my needle and give it a wee shuggle and a wee stretch. And then pop it in just through one loop. See, this is where I miss my wheeshed. This is where wheeshed. Excuse me. Right, where was I? Yes, this is where I miss my blunt ended needle because it's quite difficult to just go through the one loop without perhaps splitting the yarn when you're using a sharp needle. Anyway, so you just pop it in the centre of the last stitch. Just pull it through the back loop there and then just pull and shuggle and tighten until you're happy with how it looks. There, that's okay. And then just sew in your end and sew in your other ends. And what I like to do is when I'm sewing in my ends with the sharp pointed needle is I like to split the yarn, because when you split the yarn it holds on to it better, so there's less chance of a tail popping out, you know, a few weeks after you've made whatever your work's been. So I always like to use a sharp end needle, split the yarn, working in several directions and then cutting off. So finish off, sew in all your ends and then you'll have your hat. There's our little hat finished. I used a 3mm hook to make this hat. So this is the smallest size, the 0 to 6 months. To give you a wee comparison, this is one that I made for 6 to 12 months with a 3.5mm hook. And you can see that it's a bit bigger. And obviously if you used the 4mm hook, it would make it bigger still, and that would be the toddler size, the 1 to 3 years. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you have a go at making one of these lovely wee hats, and I hope to see you again. Bye bye just now.